Hi, I'm Dave from boinaband.com, and welcome to my 7-day song tutorial on drum and bass, where I'll be taking you through the process of making a DnB song from scratch over, shockingly enough, 7 days. At the end, I'll post the finished song, and you guys can post your completed songs as video responses, and I'll try and offer some constructive criticism to the tracks you post. I'll also choose one of my favourites to promote in the weekly video blog. I'll go through things like making the beat, synth patches, and a bit about music theory and the arrangement of a conventional drum and bass song. This is the second 7-day song, after the dubstep one, which had a great response. So if you're into your wobble bass and offbeat syncopation, check out the dubstep 7-day song tutorial. But yes, on with this tutorial. In day 1, I'll be teaching you how to make a punchy drum and bass beat, using techniques like layering, EQing, and compression to build a strong, driving basis to your track. Okay, let's begin. We'll start by setting the tempo to 170 BPM, make sure it's 170. Most drum and bass is around 160 to 180 BPM, with the vast majority at 170, making it easier for DJs to mix together. Now, create a mastering suite, M-Class Mastering Suite Combi, that's right click on the interface and then click it. A mixer 14 to 2, and also a combinator for our first drum loop. Now, the best way to get a powerful sound is by layering samples. We're going to start with a single drum loop I found in the primeloops.com drum and bass drum loops sample pack, which is really good. But if you don't have the money to spend on high quality loops, there are some pretty good ones built into Reason. Name your combinator, chorus loop. It's always a good idea to name things so you can see them here in the mixer. And right click, create Dr. Rex loop player. That's inside the combinator. Now, this plays drum loops in the .rex2 format. Okay, so click the Open button and select a loop from the Explorer. I'm going to just look in here and pick one of the loops from the drum and bass drum loops sample pack. My favorite, I think, was the Matrixer for this one. Nice. It's kind of simple. I'm going to keep things simple for this tutorial. Yeah, just click Preview if you want to have a listen to the loop at the tempo of the track. Now, right click on Dr. Rex and click Copy Rex Loop to Track. Now, if you open up the Reason sequencer here, you can see that the loop has been copied to the track between the left and right input points for the loop. I'm just going to be working with these two bars here just to keep things simple. Make sure the loop on-off is on. Okay, so if you have a listen to this, we have our basic loop. It's pretty punchy, which is great, but the kick and snare aren't as powerful as I'd like, and the hi-hats are kind of slow, whereas I want a pacey chorus for this song. So, let's get to work. If we minimize this, right-click on the interface, and create a combinator, name it Beat, and right-click, create a line mixer 62, and also create Redrum Drum Computer. Now I'm just going to load up a patch I've made just for this occasion with some beats, some individual hits from my boinaband.com drum and bass sample pack, which you can get for free on my website boinaband.com. So be sure to do that if you want some pretty sweet samples for your drum and bass. Just look in the free samples category for that. Okay, so I'll just stop this music and show you these samples we got. We've got kick, kick, snare, 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 2 different hi-hats and a nice ride there. I'll just go through these samples again with a bit more detail. Kick 1 has kind of a lot of click to it. Number 2 has kind of a bassier low end, so together they'll build a nicely rounded click. Snare 1 is very noisy and punchy with quite a long release for the meat of the snare. And number 2 has that strong attack. So those two together will make the main snare, but this one here, snare 3, is a quieter, less intrusive snare for some ghost notes, which I'll explain about in a bit. Hi-hats 1 and 2 are very similar, just a slight difference there, and I'm going to alternate between them to make it kind of pump, and also the ride I'm going to put in there to drive the track along. So, to start with, we're going to keep things simple and build a generic drum and bass loop. So we want the kicks on 1 and 11, both kicks, and snares on 5 and 13, and the step sequencer down here. So let's have a listen to what we got. Yeah, nice iconic drum and bass loop there. Because the kick on number 11 is not on the beat, which would be 9, it makes a bounciness to the beat, and this is called syncopation. Drum and bass, like a lot of other genres, is heavily centered around syncopated percussion. Okay, so now for those ghost notes I was talking about. If I put this snare on the 8 and 10, maybe take it up a little bit so you can hear it a bit more clearly. There you go. Now, because these are syncopated snare drum hits, they make the loop even bouncier, and these are called ghost notes. If you put the quiet snare on these steps, then just listen and it adds that extra bit of interest to the loop. Okay, so there's the main part of our beat. If we stop it for a second, now right click and click copy pattern to track. Now there it is in the track. Make sure you deselect enable pattern section there, so that only the sequencer down here is playing the loop. Oh, just play it from this. There we go. So we've got the combination now. I'll just take down the ghost notes a bit. It's a bit too prominent. So we've got that one combined with that one. Is giving us a nice start to our beat. Okay. Now, right click on the track and click New Note Lane. Now, this is going to be the lane we're going to have for our hi-hats. Let me name the lanes. This one can be beat, and lane 2 can be hats. Back to redrum. If we switch over to pattern number 2, now if you put one hat on all of the odd numbers and one hat on all the even ones, this will drive it nicely, because the alternating between the two hi-hats, if one is slightly louder than the other, it'll make it kind of pump with the music. Yeah, that's a cool kind of hi-hat riff there, but if we put a ride on each beat, 1, 5, 9 and 13, that just drives it along as well. Okay, so make sure you have hats selected, yep, not beat, hats, and right click and copy pattern to track again. Disable the pattern section. Okay, let's give this a listen. Sweet. That's pretty cool, but the kick and the snare are still a bit muffled for me. This is where EQing and compression comes in. We're going to start splitting the samples now.